Next time on Star Trek Endurance.
Communications officer. No, this is... no. Communications officer. No, this is... Communications officer's log. Stardate 60120.7. The crew seemed on edge for weeks now after our failure to save the colony on Serena 7. I cannot help but feel a little responsible. After all, I was part of the team to shut down and disconnect the tachyon device on the Hamilton. Well, after weeks of routine surveys, the Kongzi has been sent to a Federation space station called Epsilon 19, just outside the Shackleton Expanse. We are delivering scientific survey equipment. The captain and command crew has been invited to a dinner by the station's commander. I'm going along too. I may not need to eat, but it will give me an opportunity to see more humanoid social interaction in a formal setting. I am looking forward to it. And we are due to arrive at the station in only a few hours.
The crew is in for more than one surprise on board Epsilon 19. An unexpected guest arrives, and shortly after, a brief stop at a space station for deliveries becomes a fight for survival. Did the mysterious guest sabotage the station? Was it a crew member? Or was it even sabotage at all? The crew will have to discover the truth or risk losing a valuable Federation outpost, and maybe their lives. Watch next time, only on the Top Hats Off channel.
Hello everybody and welcome back.
Hey, welcome, and this is of course Season 1, Episode 8 of Star Trek Endurance Fading Suns. We have a bit of a hard out today and we're starting a little late, so what we are going to be doing right now is first letting Chesh know that I think she needs to set momentum to 0 and threat to 14, and then we're going to go into intros, and we're going to start at the bottom so that Chesh has some extra time, and our intros are going to be snappy today, and if they're not snappy, your character doesn't get any stress points. Alright, we're going to start with Tiri.
Hello, I'm Tiriana. I'm playing Petty Officer Billy, the White Whale navigator of the USS Kongzi, and yeah, that's it.
Alright, Craig.
I'm Craig, I run the YouTube channel FTFE. In this wonderful nerdy game, I play an X-Borg Klingon called 7 of 12, Tactical Node 3, species 5008, and I am the tactical officer aboard the USS Kongzi.
All right, Zerlon.
Hey, I'm Zerlon. You can find me at 4 Cozy Cat Games as GM Steve. I'm playing Dr. Hobnell, the Osnelsis Chief Medical Officer.
All right, I'm Dapper Dinosaur. I run this channel, and I run Dapper Dinosaur, as you could probably guess. I am going to be the GM for this entire, 4-season thing that we've got going here. As for what my role is, well, I'm the GM. I'm everybody who isn't these guys. All right, Jordan.
I run the channel Reason to Doubt, and here I am Commander Va, the joined Trill Executive Officer.
All right, Maddie.
Hey team, I'm Maddie. You can find me on the internet at Science Side Up and at OK Roll, which is my TTRPG channel. And today when I'm talking as Lieutenant Commander Gloriana Dulas, you're probably going to hear my toddler talking in the background too.
All right. And you're a Betazoid.
Yes, I'm a Betazoid.
Okay. Chesh.
Hi, I'm Cheshire. I'm playing the captain. I have a channel that I do nonsense on. There's going to be some drama happening there soon, and I do Debate Hub as sort of a more professional, talking to professionals type thing.
And you're playing
The captain. I'm the captain.
Captain Tenelia, the Cation.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You
Zara.
know they see art whenever everybody introduces themselves, right?
I don't care. You still have to say it.
Okay. I'm Zar / Necro. I play the Exocomp communications officer.
All right. And anyone here who has channels, their channels should be linked in the description so you can check those out. Before we start, I do want to say we do have a super chat goal. If we can get $25 or above, that's the teal level, and that's US dollars. I don't know what that is in your local currency. If we can get 20 of those or above within the next about 2.5 hours, these guys will get a full free refill on their momentum. So anytime after it happens, if it happens, they can bring that momentum from wherever it is to 6. And then they can just use that as if they had earned it. Because they did earn it, because you guys helped. And of course, they're allowed to cheat by sending in their own super chats if they want to. So if they're like, oh, we really need it, well, I suppose technically you could buy it. All right, so the next thing I want to say is this, I'm gonna let you know, oh, Zerlon for $5 says like this, exactly like that. So I'm gonna let you guys know, this is kind of a spoiler, but you are not going to really have access to swapping out your characters for a lot of supporting characters right now. So what I want you to do is, as I read the intro, I want you to think about whether or not you want to use your main cast character or you want to bring in a supporting character. I do think this will work fine if you all do main cast characters, but if for some reason you want to bring in one of the supporting characters, you should do it ASAP. And then for $5, Lieutenant Math Navigator says, Chesh's channel, drama? No, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, I know.
Listen,
All right.
Mania's coming over. That's all you need to know.
Well, the Kongzi was assigned to deliver important scientific equipment to Epsilon 19, a newly constructed research station just outside the Shackleton Expanse. The station was built to study the sun of the Osaran system, which is decaying at an incredibly accelerated rate. Possibly even stranger, the sun has also begun emitting high levels of triolic radiation for unknown reasons. Upon arrival, Tactical noted that an unarmed merchant vessel was also docked at the station. The station was too small for the Kongzi to dock, so you beamed over to the station. The Kongzi departed the station to conduct a more detailed scan of the system's sun. After offloading the equipment, Commander Eric Johansson invited your crew to dinner. And at dinner, you were surprised to see not only the commander and the head scientist, a Bolian woman named Liana Mosa, but also an Orion trader captain and her crew of 2 Nausicaans. And so here is where I'm going to say, does anyone want to have used a supporting character? This is basically your one chance to say that for sure.
Not, I'll stick with 7 of 12.
All right.
The
Gloriana's here.
big question would be if the captain would send Billy, because I don't think it makes sense for her to go on the space station, but she follows orders.
They might have a pool.
Yeah.
Also, you have an exosuit. So, I will say it is up to you whether you would prefer to have your main character or a supporting character here for this mission.
I'm the one who does
Well-
navigation, not the other way around.
All right, but I also want to say, Emma.
I think I would like to play her because I think it would be cool if the downsides of being a fish would come up. So yeah.
So Emma for €5 says kapla, and of course we all say katlot to that.
Emma, obviously the biggest subscriber to my
Gesundheit.
fans.
There you go. And the Rabbit has been a member for 2 months at the ensign level. Thank you very much, the Rabbit. Actually, notice we've now got a fair few people who have the TNG badge, which is like the 6-month badge. So that's like crazy to me that people have actually been here for 6 months. So thank you. All right. So let's see. As the dinner is starting. Oh, and Science Side Up has been a member at the ensign level for 1 month. Thank you very much, Science Side Up. And Zumi Tomato has also been a member for 6 months at the ensign level. Thank you very much. So, you guys are at dinner. You are seated around a large table, except for the 2 Nausicaan guards, which are standing a good distance behind Captain Paja. And basically, they look very bored, but also they still seem to be scanning the room for any danger. It seems like their job is primarily bodyguards for Captain Paja. And Craig McNeil, FTFE member for 6 months at the Lieutenant Commander level, says, Khan! I don't think he's in this game. Although I did use the Regular 1 station model from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, as the space station in the trailer. So
Cool.
Here's a little fun fact for you. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, serious question, do Star Trek species other than humans possess an inner fish? So they all have an evolutionary history, but it's not all fishy. For instance, the Klingons seem to have evolved from something that looked more like an arthropod than a fish, whereas the Betazoids seem to have in fact evolved somewhat from fish, whereas Star Trek humans might have evolved from spiders for some reason.
I would
That
also
is a
like to
canon
point out,
fact.
Didn't all intelligent humanoid Star Trek races kind of have a common ancestor that were star people who seeded all the planets in that one episode?
So, it's kind of like if you took a tomato plant and injected like one of your chromosomes into each of its cells, does that become your son? I would say no, and I would say you're not its ancestor, but there's something going on there, and it's closer to that.
The tomato is not your son, but the ethics board wants to talk to you.
Right. Prixie Overthrow Daffodilism Purple, who's been a member for 2 months, sends a blank membership chat and is at the ensign level. Thank you. All right, so
you also missed Jillian, and I would also like to point out that if you do become a member, you have a chance of being a character that we trigger in the game, and if you get triggered 3 times, you get art.
Yes. And also, Jillian Wren, Jillian Underwater Land Bridge Wren has been a member for 6 months at the ensign level. Thank you very much. And is also serving me as one of the moderators. All right, so at the dinner is going pretty well. There's some nice food, and at some point during that, you notice that Commander Johansson is very, very taken with the conversation from Captain Paja, who then brings out of some bag or something a bottle of wine, which has the label Chateau Picard.
Oh, so it's terrible wine.
And so, she starts handing out the Chateau Picard. And look, I can't speak to the quality of the Picard wine, but I don't know, some people must like it.
I do notice that literally nobody liked the wine. Every time you handed them a bottle of it, they were like, yeah, thanks, and never drank it. No one likes Chateau Picard.
Well, Alka will drink some wine.
All right.
You're paying like 3 times the price for the name on it.
So, would anyone like to ask any questions about what's going on in the station, the research, or anything like that?
I'll probably ask general questions about like how their research is going, and like get them sort of just chatting about what it is they're doing.
All right, so that's mostly going to be Liana Mosa who's going to speak to you, and she is the Bolian. And she says, well, the Osaran sun is dying at an incredible rate. We've determined that the process of decay has been increasing exponentially over the past few millennia, and the rate of decay has increased even more at a higher rate just this past year. Our current projections say that we expect the star to collapse within the next 6 or so months. But we don't actually expect a large nova explosion because, well, the energy seems to be disappearing, and our current hypothesis is there's some kind of subspace anomaly that we haven't detected yet that is shunting the energy away from our universe.
Is that what is causing it to decay faster, you think?
We're not sure, but that might be it. It might be something causing it to be destabilized, although it's not clear why that might cause it to happen, to decay faster.
Is this draining a danger to ships or anything?
Well, so waves of trionic radiation are being emitted from many locations on the sun, and they're not currently at levels high enough that any significant amount of triolic radiation flux is penetrating the shields of either the station or any of the ships that we've had visit. I suppose in the last few months of the star's life, it could pose a problem, and we might want to relocate the station to a higher orbit if that happens.
Okay, I'm going to use my ocular sensory enhancer and just scan the environment inside the station to make sure there's no radiation leaking or anything.
So there is a low, and by low I mean within like safety regulations level of triolic radiation that is elevated compared to deep space, but it's not, like I said, it's not dangerous.
And that's coming from the sun?
Yeah, it is coming from the direction of the sun.
Okay, and there's no other anomalies that I can see with my scanning on the
There
station? Right, okay.
I'll ask the trader captain, Paja, what brings her out to this somewhat remote location.
What brings you out to this neck of the woods?
Well, let's see. We were... Oh, there we go, yeah. So we were damaged by an ion storm, and this was the nearest port. And as you know, any port in a storm. So, yeah. And I figured, since the Federation is always so hospitable, that I would bring some gifts. In fact, I think it's almost time for dessert, at which point she brings out some Delvin puff pastries, which are a delicacy.
Is it a severed human head?
No. Orions don't generally eat people.
Oh,
I
is
would
there...
probably.
Gloriana is very excited about the pastry.
yeah, 7 or 12 just kind of looks up and goes, I've been waiting for the cuck.
Oh, I didn't bring any. You know what, though?
I guess I won't eat then.
My ship, I do think my ship has some Ractagino.
I have not had a Ractagino in many years. Yes, please.
All right, well, give me a second. Use a little wrist communicator and says, bring 1 case of the Raptage over to the dining area. And then you hear some gruff voice from the others and say, "Aye, Captain."
Captain,
Well,
I
there you go.
appreciate that. The replicators on board the Kongzi, they don't do proper Ractagino.
Oh, well, this was picked up from a Klingon colony.
Oh, I thank you. You are my friend. We will drink blood wine together.
This is the nicest I've ever seen him be.
He's just giving me Ractagino.
Yeah, a full case.
Well, Captain, what have you found out about this area of space? Anything interesting that you can tell us?
I mean, I'm just a trader, so I'm not spending my time doing lots of, scans, but we have had an unusual number of gravitic anomalies and ion storms, and I'm actually thinking about just shifting trade routes to avoid the Shackleton Expanse. It's kind of annoying.
Captain, could I ask a favor? Could you please transfer your data logs to the Kongzi so that we can analyze the gravitational anomalies?
I will try to make a note to have my science officer do that.
Thank you, I very much appreciate it. We're trying to figure out what's going on here, and that may help.
All right. All right, so dinner is starting to come to a close when suddenly I see if I have the right sound here. Oh, I don't think I did. Anyway, there's a big explosion that rocks the station.
I love I get to do that.
All right, so
Amber, that's super cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we are actually going to be switching scenes, and that explosion is actually costing me 14 threat because we were ending the scene with everything getting much, much worse. So,
oh dear.
This scene starts back up. You guys are getting up off of the ground that you've been thrown to. There is smoke pouring out of one of the vents. The commander of the station is currently unconscious and bleeding.
Gravel all over the floor.
Yeah, it's a rough time. It is not clear what's going on right now. There is a significant amount lack of that. Okay, I know some of you have been on ships, right? And like
Sometimes.
there's always that background noise. There's that constant hum of machinery.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of that's gone.
Right, okay.
It's always a bad
So
sign.
I'm going to once again use my ocular sensory enhancer and look for any immediate danger that needs dealing with.
So in addition to certain hotspots on the bulkheads that would probably be painful to touch, the trionic radiation flux has gone up considerably to the point that you are now in danger of acute radiation poisoning if you stay around too long.
Dr. Hognall, my sensors indicate that the radiation levels are getting unsustainable. Is there anything you can do?
I will flip open my tricorder, give a scan, and see if there's any chance I can whip up some sort of a radiation inoculation real quick.
How long will that radiation take to be dangerous?
So I will tell you what's going to happen. Basically every hour or so of in-game time, you are all going to take one stress that you cannot recover until you're outside of the trialic radiation, unless you get an inoculation. The inoculation itself is going to be a test, and then getting everyone inoculated is either going to require a bunch of time running around, or if you guys can build up enough momentum, you could use a momentum spend to create the advantage of an inoculation and get that taken care of.
All right. Sorry.
Can I try to help? Oh, thank you.
Well,
I want to see if I can do something to the shields to protect us better, to reduce the amount getting in.
Well, right now you are in the dining room, and you definitely cannot do that from the dining room.
So I actually, now that I know that it's not going to be lethal, I'm going to tell Hobnob, belay that order, treat the commander. The rest of us need to get to the bridge and figure out what that explosion is. Most present danger first.
All right. So first, we're going to deal with the healing commander, but also Lieutenant Matt the Navigator says we're all going to get stuck in a turbo lift with Maddie's kiddo.
Yeah. Billy will grab one last bite of food and then slam the visor of her exosuit shut, and then I will float over to Hobnoll to help with my focus in emergency medicine.
All right. So Hobnoll, give me a difficulty 2 control and medicine check, please. Yeah, the 14 threat should be at 0 right now. All right, now you get the assist from Billy, who has a focus here. So, all right, you have managed to stabilize Commander Johansson, who is the commander of the station. And so, while he is not conscious, he is now out of immediate danger of bleeding out. At this point, Captain Paja comes up, seemingly certainly better off than Commander Johansson, and says, "What? I thought this was going to be a nice, easy day of just having a dinner. What's go?"
I laugh out loud about that. That's
well, if you brought the GAC, it would have been much better.
Well, I didn't know I was going to meet with a Klingon. I don't normally meet with Klingons on Federation stations. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I like you.
I'm going to hit my communicator and
Thanks.
see if I can get in touch with the Kong Z.
You do not receive a response back. It's possible that the radiation is interfering. It's also possible they've gone a fair distance away.
Okay. Can our communicators talk with people on the station?
You haven't tried?
All right.
Try and contact the bridge. Yeah.
Vada Bridge.
There is no response, although technically you're calling it the ops because this is a space station.
Sorry, ops. You're right. I stand
Yeah, there's no response from ops.
Is there
Do we
any
know how to
internal communications I can try?
Yeah, there is a communications panel on the wall. And what was the question, Jordan?
Do we know how to get to ops?
Yes, the turbo lift.
Cool.
Okay, I go over to the communications panel and say 7 of 12 to ops.
So you see a staticky screen where there is mostly just haze and static. It's not clear what's going on in ops.
I punch it and then try again.
It now has a cracked screen, and the same thing happens.
That was broken before.
Yeah, it was like that when I got there, guys.
I don't think anyone's going to check in the middle of the explodey station to see whether or not one person might have broken a screen.
Okay, Captain, there. sorry, Commander, the communications on board the station don't seem to be functioning either. We need to get to ops as soon as possible.
I agree, Captain.
Yes, let's get to ops as soon as possible. We should all group up together, and we should get moving. There's no
All right,
reason to stand and hang around here.
Tack, give me a hand with the casualty.
Sir, I pick him up and put it over my shoulder.
All right, let's go.
So you all get in, pile into the turbo lift, and once you're in there, and you presumably stay ops, it starts moving up, but then it stops. All the lights in the turbo lift go out, and it starts falling. Give me a daring or fitness and security check, and I would like to start with the people who have the highest rating, just in case we need some of that momentum.
Sorry, did you say daring and security?
Daring or fitness and security, whichever one you would prefer.
I got a 16, so I'm gonna.
All right.
I've got 15, and does a focus and composure help with that?
Yeah, we'll say yes. Say yes.
Then I have a 15 and a focus.
I have a 13 and a focus. I think I'm probably fine with the 13, right?
Probably. What's the difficulty?
2.
So we have no momentum, and one person failed. So you may want to buy some threat.
Well, I also don't seem to have a roll yet from
me,
from Hobnall or Necro.
I was waiting to see if I was going to have some momentum, but we don't have any, so I'll just make a roll.
I'll just make a roll as well.
Oh, Chip.
It's also with difficulty 2, it's pretty hard to generate momentum unless you're very lucky.
Craig, you take 3 points of stress.
Of course I do.
Let's see. Hobnall takes 2. Broken Chip takes 4. And let's see. Commander Duelist takes 1 point of stress.
Jordan has the
my hair comes undone. My hair.
No.
Jordan has the drop down for his clone. FTFE and Maddie both have no drop down.
Oh, do I not change the drop down?
Looks like
I said it and forget it.
I didn't either, but Justin called me out.
Hold
so.
on. I don't.
Yeah, what
that's
the
not
hell?
the drop down for my clone, because the clone was named Malka, not Malka Va, because there was no Va in the clone.
It's got a point.
Yeah.
Boom.
It doesn't have the picture.
Yeah.
As a Klingon, my hair also comes out of its ponytail and gets messy. I go over to Dulas and say, "Do you have a spare scrunchie?"
If I had a spare scrunchie, do you think my hair would look like this?
Good point.
All right.
Have you
so the turbo
tried not having any hair?
Actually, technically, cetaceans do have a little bit of hair, so
Not
But
ponytail.
not in that way.
True. They have a few
You're
little
not putting a
whiskers right
scrunchie
around
on your back hair.
Yeah.
Or, I hope
so
not.
Right now, the turbo lift is stopped.
Okay.
And the lights are out.
Can I try to?
Yeah, is there a computer interface?
Well, there is, but it currently is just a black screen.
I'm gonna indicate that we should open the emergency door.
Which is definitely
I
there.
have a feeling that we have to take Jeffrey's tubes.
Well, first you might want to get out of the turbo lift.
Is there
I'm
no way to
assuming it's
restore?
like a panel I can rip off and expose some wires and take a look.
Yeah, I was just going to
Well,
say,
I mean,
can
you
we
can
see if
pull
we can
off-
fix it first, or?
Yeah, you can pull the screen off.
Isolinear chips.
Computer
There's no
station.
power.
But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's power. The lights are off, and so is the computer interface.
We have an
Okay,
exocom who can fly.
That's true.
We have a Klingon who can rip off doors.
Okay,
Well,
so I
there's
rip
a-
off the.
Hold on. There's an emergency panel designed to open. We don't need to rip off anything. Just open the
So I
panel.
rip off the emergency panel
Here we go.
and look at Chip and go, "You know what you got to do."
Yes, I will do so. And
All
flies
right.
out.
Oh, that's a very calming voice.
My ears are just flat
And-
back.
All right, so
The exocomp floats off. Good luck, suckers.
Bye.
I'm
as
out of
you-
here.
as you look up through the turbo shaft, we'll call it, so you do know that the direction that you would normally be going is up to get to ops, and that direction is just mostly on fire.
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay.
that's not
There
good.
appears to be flames in the path.
Do you have a
And-
water attachment?
I do not.
Oh.
Is up at least still up? Because
okay,
fire
Billy's
in
got a lot of
0G
water.
is pretty nasty.
Well, just because this is Star Trek, remember, the highest priority system in all of Starfleet is artificial gravity.
Always gravity.
It is
Yeah.
the last
Even more
thing
important
that
than
ever
oxygen,
will.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who cares about oxygen? You're sticking to the ground because otherwise it gets expensive to fill.
Right.
Look, the
The
ship is
up's
more
not an
dense than
option.
you, and things go by density, and the ship is definitely more dense than we are.
So up is not an option. Is down an option?
Well, it's an option if you want to deal with fire.
Okay, I know because I've watched so much Star Trek that yes, thank you. That inside of Turbolist there's an emergency like bar, right? That falls and it's a manual release for the door. Can we try that?
Yeah, so that opens. Unfortunately, it opens to a section of turbo lift shaft. But there is a junction that you can reach before the fire, which would let you go down.
Okay.
Would you like
Okay.
me
I
to
guess we're
access
going
the
down.
junction?
Try the junction.
The
All right,
Better than
problem,
going nowhere.
the problem is, so I assume we're gonna have to climb to get to this junction.
Probably, yeah.
We're climbing with a casualty. Just
Yeah, I
keep that
have
in mind.
someone over my shoulder.
Well, he's not
not
dead.
dead, but also he's
No. He's
Casualty doesn't mean
out
dead.
of the
No.
fight because he's unconscious, but he's
Yeah.
not dead. If he was dead, we could have left him, but
Yeah.
he's not dead. We have to save him, or at least try.
Yeah,
Um,
so, here, I'll-
yeah.
GM, real quick.
um,
I'm going to say
Okay.
that Dr. Hobnall and Billy did get him to the point where he is stable. He will not. So, keeping him in the turbo lift is likely to be safer than trying to carry him around. And in terms of,
Yeah.
well, what if something happens in the turbo lift? Well, that could happen in any part of the station anyway.
Mhm.
So,
okay.
you're probably as reasonably safe leaving him in the turbo lift as putting him anywhere else anyway.
We'll just make sure that we close
Yeah.
the door on the top as we leave.
So do you want me
Yeah.
to put them down?
Yes.
Well, if the doctor thinks it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him in a stable side position and everything, and then we'll leave him.
Don't put him
I
on his
just-
back, you better off
I-
as small as one.
Take him off my shoulder and he's in my arms, and I just like hand him to the doctor.
Just take him and put him nice and safe near the
What is
fire.
the doctor supposed to do? Put him in his pocket.
Fire.
I just put
It'll
him, I
keep
just
him
put them on the
warm.
floor and put them in the recovery position and look at the doctor.
That's about all we can do right now.
All right.
I'm leaving
So-
while they're doing this.
All right. So you guys get out of the turbolift, those of you who can, including the Orion captain. And getting to the junction is actually pretty easy. There are ladders, and those ladders are not particularly damaged, and so you can get there without too much trouble. And once you're in the turbolift junction, you can walk to the point where there's another vertical shaft. And that vertical shaft will allow you to go down fairly easily, or you could go up, but up does still have a fire going on up there.
We'll go down and try to find an alternate path.
All right. So below you, so the way the station basically works is at the very top is the ops. Then there's a docking bay. Then that's still above where you are. Where you are is basically where like living quarters and recreation is, and that's below the docking bay. And then below that is going to be engineering and science labs. And then at the very bottom of the station is going to be the actual engineering lab section that has the actual fusion reactor that powers the station for the most part.
We might want to split up and have our engineering staff go to the bottom while our command team goes to the top.
The engine.
Yeah, Duelis should take some security
Yes.
with her.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got a focus in computer interfaces, so I should probably go
We are
with
going
Dulas
to
to help and
send-
keep her safe.
Yeah, we're gonna send exocom.
Because she's not very fit, you know. If there's cardio needed, then she's not going to get very
or
far.
else these ladders would be impossible.
We're going to send
Working out, Dulas. You haven't turned up to the past 15 sessions.
We're gonna send the exocom. We're gonna send our Betazoid. We're going to send our Klingon Borg to engineering. The other 3 are going to ops.
Where are you
Unless
going?
you think the medic is also. I'm going with the other 3. Unless we think the medic needs to go to engineering.
I mean, you never know when you're going to need a medic, but
I would say that engineering may possibly be damaged. We know for a fact ops is on fire, so we should bring the doctor with us.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to deal with the going up to the upper levels first. So.
And I'd just like to point out that our engineer is in charge of the other team, being the rankingest person there. So.
Oh no!
All right, so there is on the way up. The first real problem that you encounter is that there is a broken EPS conduit spewing plasma that is definitely making the whole fire problem worse. So, as you're climbing up, you're going to need to repair that. Otherwise, you're going to be in danger of taking some pretty severe plasma burns. So, who on the up towards the ops stations is going to take point on repairing the EPS conduit?
Is that an engineering check?
There's going to be daring and engineering.
Dang, I want control. Can it just be
I have
control?
a 12.
I also have a 12.
In engineering, I would have a 14.
There you go.
Sounds like Billy's in charge.
All right.
Billy,
I'm very daring and I'm okay at engineering. But I don't think I have a focus that helps with that.
So you're using your crazy little attached robot arms to try to repair the EPS conduit.
Yeah, just.
I'm just imagining a
stem the
spider
plasma
whale
flow.
flapping with a tail fluke.
This is going to be difficulty 2.
Can we help?
Do we have momentum?
No.
No.
But on the other hand,
He's got no threat though, so
one of you.
just chuck him threat.
Yeah, I'll give you 1 threat to roll 3 dice, and then we'll see. You decide who wants to help.
Does anybody have anything to help with this?
doesn't matter a whole lot because you
Alright.
just got it.
He got it. It's fine.
I rolled a 1. Nice.
Boom.
Ooh,
Yeah, correct.
nice. Now we have
3
momentum. Now we
Yeah.
have momentum.
3 momentum and 1 threat should be on the board.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So you managed to
Nice.
seal off that damaged EPS conduit without getting burned. Let's see.
Awesome. I like not getting burned.
Chad is asking what our directives are.
Oh, our directives are don't die.
Survive, and don't
Survive.
get
Yeah,
killed.
we didn't initially have directives because we were just supposed to have a nice dinner.
Is it,
Directive. Eat pastry. Complete.
don't start a war with the Klingons.
Yeah, that's another directive that can
Don't
be.
start a
that
war
can
with the
be fine.
Klingons.
Yeah. I mean, there's no. I think Tak is the only Klingon on the station. Like, period. So, like, I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. But, like, I don't know. Don't start a war with the Federation either.
Yeah, or Tak. Tak will win.
So our directive is don't die.
Mostly, yeah. Mostly just don't die.
Got it. Okay.
Piss off the
prime
Nostrils.
I
directive-
like that directive.
The Prime Directive is also in there. And also, I suppose, save the station crew if possible, I guess.
I feel like that counts as
Suddenly we
surviving.
meet a pre-warp civilization in the middle of the station, we will observe the Prime
Hey,
Directive.
you know what? It could happen. You never know.
We're a
And,
micro civilization.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, don't start a war with the Orions. You know, the fun thing there is it's basically impossible to start a war with the Orions because pretty much anything that you have do to some Orions, most of the other Orions are just going to be like, well, that's not me, so like, okay.
Or I
So
didn't
you
like them,
probably
so I'm happy
deserve
with
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was a dick. I'm okay with it. Orions are a very fractious bunch. They don't really have much.
Like
there
starting
unified-
a war with the Ferengi is also, yeah.
Yeah, they there is an Orion government that isn't just the Orion Syndicate, but like mostly they do stuff like run universities, which are actually pretty good universities. Like they're like renowned in the Alpha Quadrant for being good places to go study. But like, yeah, the the Orion government is mostly just like, yeah, we just make a lot of money from trade, some of which might be illegal, and we don't really see much reason to go to war unless there's like an invasion. And who would want to invade Orion territory when you're already our trade partners?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
World War
The
now?
Orion government is kind of like the IRS. They have like 3.5 tax codes for profits of illegal business.
So, let's see. Sorry.
So yeah, we repaired the plasma thing.
We got the zoomies.
All right, so you guys are able to manage to get around the fire relatively without too much trouble. It does take a while. And so once you get to ops, you open it, and it is in fact full on fire, and it looks like pretty much everyone is probably dead in ops, which is going to be the majority of the station's 15 crew complement. There's only going to be at most a few scientists and engineers that would have been elsewhere.
Do we know of a way to get this fire under control?
Yeah, you're going to be able to do that, but we're going to switch down to the people who are going to the lower levels. So,
Lower decks.
yeah, so the first thing you would get to is the transporter room and shuttle bay. Do you want to bother going in there, or are you?
Oh
just
god, not the
going...
transporter!
No, we're just getting its priority so we can see if we can get some kind of shields up, I think.
Yeah, I want to focus on getting the.
All right, so the next section down is the science lab, and I am. Oh, I don't have 2 threat. I was going to spend 2 threat. I don't have any.
No,
Can you give us momentum to get threat? Because it's like
No.
a two-way exchange.
No.
that's not how it works.
Khajiit will trade.
I could do whatever I want. It's a TTRPG, and like Modifius isn't going to send the Modifius cops to be like, "Hey, you screwed up the game."
Wait.
But I'm not going to do that.
Do they know about
don't
this street?
employ the Pinkertons? Like,
Hey!
Yeah, unlike Watsy, who might send the Pinkertons if you use your skills wrong. Yeah. As a pro tip, anytime you feel like, oh, maybe I should send the Pinkertons, you're already the bad guy, and you should reassess everything that you're doing right now.
Maybe
I should consider hiring
maybe
them.
just don't.
Yeah, anytime you feel like the next right step in your life is to call in the literal villains in multiple video games, tap the brakes a little bit and think about what you're doing with your life. Maybe
It's like
don't.
calling
I don't
Trevor
know.
from Grand Theft Auto. What are you doing?
Yeah, like what's next? Are you going to call in the undead Nazis from Call of Duty? Is that your next step? Is that what
The
you're
Red
gonna do next?
Wizards.
Yeah,
The Thane
like-
Wizards.
Yeah, no, just don't. All right. So science labs. Let's see. So you get to the science lab level, and most of them are there. Leanna Mosa had actually left a little bit early during dinner, so she is there too. Let's see. So they are huddled around trying to put out a few fires, and they are noticing that there's not a lot of power. Some of them are trying to see if they can get internal comms going. So would the team who has been climbing down to this section like to say anything or do anything in the science labs?
Is anybody hurt?
Oh,
No.
Leanna
Commander,
Mosa.
we seem good.
Leanna Mosa turns and says, "Oh, we've got bumps and scrapes here, but I think no one is currently in life-threatening danger."
All right, we're going down to engineering. We're gonna try to get the reactor back up.
Okay, so you get down to engineering, which is near the base of the station, and it's a large circular room, and there's a fusion reactor that takes up most of the center section. And the room is lined with computer monitors and control panels. There's a complete secondary command center down here, which would allow for complete control of the station's functions. Not terribly efficiently, but it would work. You get down there, and there are 2 dead engineers, and there is also a fire that's broken out in one of the EPS conduits. The automatic fire suppression system has stopped a lot of the fires, but as long as that EPS conduit is broken, it's going to keep spraying out plasma and starting the fire back up. So, would
I
anyone-
scream.
Ah! So is Chip with us?
Yes.
Yes, and repairing this is gonna this EPS conduit is a daring and engineering task difficulty 2.
Yeah, Chip, are you able to do something?
I can do many things. What would you like me to do?
Make the fire stop and the plasma.
Okay.
All right, daring engineering difficulty 2. Let's see what you got.
Dude, you guys might want to let me make this roll because I've got to focus in electroplasma power systems.
Yeah, do it.
Okay,
The
dokie.
chief engineer is there, so
My daring is
Yeah.
not very high, so
Okay. Well, you could assist if you
So-
wanted.
sure, I can do that.
Okay.
I would like to spend a momentum to get an extra die.
Cool. Well, I'm sure that when Chesh gets back, she will fix that.
I rolled a 1.
All right. That's okay. So, oh wait, you actually rolled a 1-1?
No, I got like a
Yeah,
1
okay.
point.
Yeah. So that means that the momentum stays the same, and the EPS conduit is, well, I say repaired in the sense that it's no longer shooting out jets of plasma. It's not repaired in the sense that everything's fixed now.
I'm very scared the whole time, and I won't do that because I don't want to startle this one.
All right, I'm going to say that it has been an hour worth of climbing and doing stuff, and everyone is taking 1 point of stress from 1 hour being on the station, and you cannot heal this until you are out of the triolic radiation. So, if you would like to get at least emergency power back, it'll be a control and engineering task with a difficulty of 1 to start back up minimal power on the reactor.
Amazing. I'm so good at
Can I? I'll assist with that. 'Cause I've got a focus in shield operations or computer interfaces.
I'll let computer interfaces go. I probably shouldn't, but I'll do it anyway. I'll be nice.
Do I just roll
I'm
one
gonna
or
let
two?
you roll.
1.
All the interfaces are computers.
Oofed.
Okay, and does my focus in power systems still apply?
Absolutely.
Amazing. I will still spend a momentum to get an extra die.
This is only difficulty 1, you know. Okay, cool. Well,
That's a lot of
instead-
momentum.
So that actually brings us up to 6 momentum, basically.
Woo!
I think that like the ones that people are super duper good at are the time to use like any momentum just so we can just stack our momentum up.
Yeah, sometimes you can spend momentum and just get more momentum than you put in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are at full momentum now. All right, so back up on ops. Basically most of the panels come back on, and that includes internal comms, which would allow you to call down to engineering or to the science labs or to the shuttle bay. I suppose it would also allow you to go back or call back to the dining room, but whatever.
So does that mean we could close the door, turn off the oxygen, and kill all the fire?
You might want to double check to make sure everyone's dead first.
I mean, yeah. How do we stop
Okay, hang on,
the priority is stopping the fire and checking the bodies.
Okay.
That would definitely confirm that they were all dead at that point.
Well, you know,
It's true.
So,
which
also-
dies faster,
I-
these people or the fire? Science.
I think broken plasma conduits still burn in a vacuum because the air is different or something.
Well, actually, what it is that they will still continue to output plasma as long as they have a plasma source, regardless of pressure or oxygen. But in the absence of oxygen, that can't then set anything else on fire. But it could melt things.
Well, either way,
okay.
fire, check bodies.
Can we, using the displays now, can we see the status of the ship, like, or sorry, the base, seeing like what decks are damaged?
Yeah, so there is extensive damage on all decks. I'll say that Hobnall is looking around, and it looks like there's one survivor who is a Vulcan who looks like he's probably like the XO for this command. He's got the highest rank there.
Do these not
Lieutenant
have,
Math
like,
Navigator for $5 says
sprinkler
he's
systems?
dead, Jim. And so that Vulcan is in fact still alive but unconscious and is in a pool of green, thick Vulcan blood because Vulcans have green blood. That's a fact I know.
What are they, plants? Is that algae?
So
Copper. They have
high copper
copper-based blood.
concentration.
Well,
Yeah.
the problem is that copper-based blood is actually blue, and so there's been later additions that they have additional pigments in their blood that just happens to be green from other proteins. Don't worry about it.
They're plants.
Yeah.
They're definitely not plants. They can't photosynthesize. They don't have cell walls.
They're plants.
They're really vegan.
Do I look like a biologist
they recycle
to you?
all the
The
time.
plant people are in Farscape.
I am not
Actually-
a
Exactly.
xenobiologist, unlike my prior character.
Star Trek does have a few sapient plant species, so like there are plant people in Star Trek. It's just that they're not the Vulcans or the
Yeah, they're
Romulans.
plants.
They're not, but okay.
Okay. So Hobnall's going to treat the casualty
Yeah.
again.
All right. Hobnall, give me a control and medicine check difficulty 2.
Is
I
Billy
will
gonna
spend
assist?
the momentum for one more.
Billy should assist with emergency stuffs. Spent 1 momentum.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5. The Vulcans are Kerbals confirmed. There we go.
Can I assist this role?
You are in the ops team, right?
Yep.
Then yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you can. Although, I mean, you don't
Okay,
super have to,
so-
but I guess it could give us a point of momentum back.
Well, but yeah, it wouldn't
Or
hurt.
fail.
So
It could be a
Fail.
20, and then I would get a 30.
I could roll a 20. Yes, but I just
No.
rolled a 17.
All right. I could
Yeah.
use some more threat. It would be fun. There's more things I could do.
Yeah, we definitely need more decloaking Klingon ships right now.
You already blew up the station. What more do you want?
A decloaking Klingon ship would be a good thing. They could help you evacuate. You're currently allied with the Klingon empires.
You
Yeah.
mean a
Working out of a
decloaking
joint Klingon
Romulan
Federation
ship?
starbase. Yeah, that would be a problem. Romulans, maybe Cardassians, maybe
right.
Orion pirates instead of traitors, which is a fine line, I'll grant you.
I'm going to hit the comms panel and call down to engineering.
Okay.
Status report.
We've got power. Put the fire out, and that's what I've accomplished. Is there something you'd like me to prioritize?
I would like you to prioritize bringing the ship to full power so we can stop getting baked by radiation. Sorry, Starbase. I keep saying ship.
Understood. So shields are priority, full power, working on it.
Understood.
All right. So at this point, Maddie is going to start working on that, but I'm also going to say if you would actually someone give me who's going to be using the sensors at ops. Who's that guy?
Probably
what
Billy.
kind of check would that be?
So it's probably going to be mostly science. And as for what attribute, reason is probably going to be a default, although there still might be some control or daring or something like that.
Unless it's control or daring, I'm very bad. So
Okay.
I have a science of
Science, I have 3. Control 11, reason 9. So sometimes good, sometimes not so good.
How's Hobnall?
Still might.
15 on reason and science.
there you go.
Hobnall should be on
Hobnall's
the
doing
sensors.
it.
Perpetual
Hobnall.
sensor boy.
Give me yeah, start scanning, boy. Give me
I
a
like to scan it.
give me a difficulty
Life
1
forms.
reason and
Scanning
science.
for life forms.
All right, well that puts our momentum back up to 6, and yeah, here's the thing: the trionic radiation is no longer only from the direction of the sun. The problem is coming from inside the house.
Oh no!
No.
Captain, the radiation, it's radiating from the station too.
It's always something.
Malka will literally go, motherfucker, and then go over to the comms panel and hit it and say, ops to engineering.
Yes, Commander. I haven't been able to do anything. How can I help?
Yeah, forget my previous order. The radiation's coming from inside the station. Figure that out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, on it.
Ops out.
All right, we're going to drop a momentum by 1 because we are about to start the next scene, which is the what the heck is going on with all this trionic radiation? All right, so here is what we know so far. Trionic radiation was coming from the sun. Energy was disappearing from the sun. We know that you have at least some of the scientists still alive. Virtually everyone else on the crew is either dead or is seriously injured and unconscious. The Orion crew, you have seen not much of them, but they were probably on the ship mostly. We also have limited power, but you do have scanners up, so you can scan things. And you may be able to learn more from the science officer, the Bolian, whose name was something. She definitely had a name.
Leanna Mosin.
Yeah, it was, in fact, Leanna Mosin.
So we've got Leanna to talk to and the Orion to talk to, and I think those are the two people we're probably going to talk to.
Yeah, Captain, I recommend that we get Dr. Hobnall working on an inoculation.
Yeah.
And we interrogate the scientists to determine what experiment they were running that went horribly wrong and exploded.
Yep. So, Hobnall, you got this. You two.
All right.
Sir.
So, presumably Hobnall will be working in science to do the cure thing.
With probably Billy.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know how Billy is with that. And I want to interrogate the scientists.
Me and you are going to be working with the scientists and with the Orion.
I'm not
the
good
Orion
at
is back in
talking.
turbo lift.
We could have Billy staying here and sort of keeping tabs on everything, right? Because at ops. Right?
I
Well,
can
I
do
recommend
that.
that be you, Captain, so you can supervise.
Oh, I don't
and
get to
manage
do the
situation.
interrogate. Fine. I see how it is.
We can bring the scientists to you, Captain. You're in
It's
charge. I'm just saying.
fine.
When I ran a ship,
You
I
go.
would have
Yeah,
stayed in
yeah, what you would do. Blah, blah, go. I never get to have any fun.
The snootiness of the joint.
I've pulled out the bottle of wine that nobody wanted. I'm just I was carrying it with in my pocket the whole time.
The pocket on your uniform that doesn't have pockets?
Yeah. Listen, women are used to dealing with not having pockets.
She's the captain. She can have a special uniform made.
That's true.
I got a holster on my leg for bottles of wine specifically.
Gotta keep her kitty treats somewhere.
I mean, I'm just gonna make everybody else leave so that way I can consume some of these roasted people. Without anybody judging me or even knowing that I did it. It's
As
barbecue.
you come back, blood dripping down your
It
face.
smells delicious in here.
It might get noticed that there are gnaw marks on the bodies.
Not if the bodies are all burned up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Someone took the cannibal perk.
who? Good perk. If you want to be a ghoul. All right, so who is going to talk to the scientists? Anyone else?
Hobnall should probably come.
Talking is the one
since he-
thing I'm really bad at.
No, I can do the talking part, but the understanding science part, not my jam. So maybe Hobnall should come with me,
I can do that, or Hobnall could do that.
or
yeah.
or Billy, whoever is better at science.
Billy
than-
goes
Probably Billy.
with yeah,
Probably
and
Billy,
you
so I can work on inoculations.
work on the inoculation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need your medical knowledge for the
Well,
stuff.
the science lab would be a
I'll
good place to work
follow
on
the
an
commander.
inoculation. So
Yeah.
Okay, all three of you are going, and I'm staying in command to eat people.
Yes, Commander, of course, Commander. Whatever you order, Commander.
Yeah.
all right, so down in the science lab, you can still see that the scientists are now trying to tidy things up, and they're putting out the last few little fires and whatnot.
All right, I'm gonna find Leanna.
She's not hard to find. She's the bald blue woman.
Right, and say, all right, status report.
Well, we've got power back. I'm not exactly sure who did that, but we've been trying to make sure that everything is secure here. We haven't really started scanning again. Did I assume it was your crew who got the power back?
Yes, we have the power back up. Our engineering team is still working on restoring us to full power. Our captain has taken command and is currently in ops. And I am here to determine what the hell happened.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says rolls up a catnip cigar. There it is. All right, so Leanna says, we're not sure. I mean, you can look through our sensor logs. The sensors were running up to that point. We've been prioritizing safety over checking the logs, so we haven't done that yet. I can look over them with you if you want.
Hobnall, Billy.
All right, so the sensor logs indicate that everything she told you at dinner was in fact true.
Okay.
On looking further into it, you can see that what's been happening is that there are actually discrete locations several kilometers across on the surface of the star that have been emitting the triolic radiation, and they are also the source of the energy dissipation or disappearance. And so that is what the logs record, and they also record that as right in the buildup to this, the amount of triolic radiation coming from the star went down a little bit. And also you notice that in the last few hours leading up to this, there does seem to be some change in these kilometers across locations that are like the interface between the stellar radiation and the triolic radiation, which is unusual. And I would like someone to take a difficulty 3, reason and science, and the person who does that, let me know who's that's going to be, because I want to check your focuses.
Reason
be
and
Hobnall
science.
for sure.
Yeah, that'd be 15. I have focuses in diplomacy, xenobiology, composure, infectious diseases, investigation, and reverse engineering.
You you do in fact have a focus that applies. So this is difficulty 3. You do have 5 momentum, so I mean,
Being Star Trek genre savvy, those are of course life forms.
Yeah, let's spend 3 and get an extra couple dice.
Okay. So that momentum should go down to 2.
Never mind.
All right, let's see what she. Oh my goodness!
That
All right,
looks
so you got 2
pretty
points of
good.
momentum back, so your momentum is back up to 4. So you can examine the sensor logs, and you find that what's actually happening is that towards one side of all of these blob-shaped anomalies, there's actually another smaller anomaly that's been growing for a little while, and those actually disappeared shortly before this emergency happened. And it
Wonder of
resembles.
childbirth.
It reminds you of the reproductive strategy of a particular single-celled fungus from Earth.
And xenobiology, let's go!
I was gonna joke that it was xenobiology was the focus, and wouldn't
As
you
I
know it.
said, as being Star Trek genre savvy, of course those are life forms.
So when this is
The fungus is Saccharomyces cerevisiae,
Of course.
which is brewer's yeast. The fungus that gets us beer and wine.
Give
and
them the
most other
wine, make them happy.
okay, so Doctor, are you telling me that assume that he's going to communicate this information to us? Are you telling me that these anomalies are alive?
It does seem that way.
Dr. Mosen, do you agree?
Well, this is the first we've seen of this behavior from the anomalies, so I don't know nearly as much about biology as the doctor does, but it seems plausible.
What experiments were you running prior to this occurring?
We were just monitoring. This is a passive monitoring station. We don't even have experimental labs. We just have a sensor suite and these computer banks.
Can we determine where the anomalies disappeared to? Because you said it disappeared just before the explosion, right?
We might be able to. The problem is that the only way we would be able to detect them is as the imbalance of the solar radiation versus the triolic radiation. But maybe something has changed that caused all of this that will make them visible to sensors. Let's see. So if you want to try to scan for them, it is going to require a difficulty 4 control and science check.
This, if there has ever been a Trigon protocol.
Wait, how do these
In
aliens
control
know?
and in control and
clearly they've
science,
been
I
monitoring
would
the whole
have
thing.
14. So I'm not sure if I could help or should.
I don't know if either of you have a value that you might be able to invoke, but this would be a good check to do it.
That
probably.
might be another thing, yeah.
Yeah, you beat me on control and science. I've only got a 12.
Okay. So could I invoke my value of always double check your work?
Yeah, I'd allow that. Also, I gotta say, Lieutenant Math Navigator, you bought my tacos today. So thanks, Lieutenant Math Navigator. I was like, I don't want to order food. It's too expensive. And I was like, you know what? No.
Tacos are great.
I'm getting lengua tacos, and that's just what's gonna happen. And so yeah, I got some delicious lengua tacos. In case anyone doesn't know, that is in fact beef tongue. It's delicious.
So I have
we have a taco
3
truck set up near
successes
us.
plus another 2 would be 5. So I think we're good.
Yes, yeah, we are. In fact, that gives us an extra momentum. I'll just make sure that you mark that you have used a point of determination.
Yeah, mark my determination.
So is our momentum at 5 then? Am I correct about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So, you have found that not only can you now detect the objects on the sun, but there are also objects that are surrounding the fusion core that are invisible in the visible light spectrum and are mostly unable to be touched because they are out of sync with this reality with a phase variance of 0.004, which is just enough to let your sensors detect them barely, but not enough to let you interact with them physically in any meaningful way as, like, you know, humanoids in a ship. But yeah, it seems like what probably happens is whatever it is that triggered all of this, it caused them to lower their phase shift so that they were more easily detectable with the scanners, because they certainly weren't able to be detected before. But now you can actually see that there are these mostly insubstantial cosmozoan life forms draining power out of the fusion reactor and giving off triolic radiation when they do so.
Do I
Bloody
get
out of
anything
phase bugs.
telepathically?
You can try to send something now that you know that they're there. And what you get is you definitely don't get the sense that these are entities that like could have a conversation. They're much more like simple animals, and their primary desire is for food. They're hungry.
They look like duck.
Oh, well, hi. Hello, everyone. I have a wild idea. What if we shut down power, right? So these things, they're attracted to power sources. They're hungry and they want power. What if we, like, shut down power here, but then had a thing that was like a drawing moth to a light, right? We turn off our lights and put a light over there.
Like
that
the
is some sort of
sun?
power source that would be tasty to them.
We could reconfigure a probe.
Well, isn't
and
there already
possibly...
like a thing that they were feeding off of? Wasn't that the sun? The star?
Well, no, I think they might be coming
Yeah,
from the sun, or at least from the anomaly that's taking the energy from the sun.
But they
Okay, everyone take another point of stress because of all of the triolic radiation.
But they were. That's what they were, like, out of game. That what we were told before, or what we understood before, was that there was a star there that was having its power drained. So I don't think we need to necessarily put out something else for it to eat. The thing for it to eat is already there, right?
Well,
Am I
then why
understanding
is
that
our
correctly?
reactor, for lack of a better term, tastier?
I mean, it
Yeah,
might not be.
that might be it. That it's not necessarily stronger than the star, but it just tastes better. People go for chocolate, even if rice would
Well,
be
it
more
also
nourishing.
could have been a vicinity thing. We didn't know exactly where this thing was.
While we're figuring that out, I want to
It
actually
was
get
on the star,
inoculations going.
wasn't it?
This
You want
one
to what? Sorry, Hobnob?
wasn't.
Get the inoculations that I said I was going to do a while ago actually going.
Dapper?
All right. So yeah, sorry, I just had to check a few things. All right, so you can indeed start working on that. That is going to be a difficulty 3 reason or control and medicine. Your let's see. Your focuses don't seem to apply. And if you want to get everyone inoculated without it taking like another hour or something, you're going to have to spend a couple of momentum to get that accomplished. And in the meantime, Maddie, the reactor is becoming unstable as it is being fed on. And so while everyone else is working on other things like solutions, you are going to need to try to stabilize this reactor lest it blow up. Which would be bad.
There's a problem. Gonna not blow up. All right, let's go.
You know, we could just jettison the reactor, can't we?
You could, but that would mean that you would quickly start running out of power.
That's okay. We have a ship nearby.
Yeah.
Well, a ship that currently you can't contact because of interference.
Oh, the interference is still active.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if we jettison it and send it far away, it'll keep chasing that. The interference will go away.
It might take a while. All right, so let's see. Hobnall, that is good. Would you like to spend those couple points to get everyone inoculated real fast?
Yeah, I spent one for an extra die, and I'll spend another couple so that we cannot die. Not dying seems like a good
that
thing.
That brings us down to 2 momentum total.
Okay.
So in that case, what that means is that everyone, you can heal those 2 stress that you were given
Yahoo!
As a result of the trialic radiation, and you will not be taking more. However, this is in fact an extended task for Maddie. Maddie, this reactor is going to blow up in 8 hours. That is going to be 16 total intervals. This is a magnitude 4 and difficulty 4. The work track is 10 on this. And it has a base resistance of 4. However, on this particular task, every time you roll an effect on your damage to the track, or your work to the track, it will reduce that resistance by 1. You can still, as normal, spend momentum. Because it is difficulty 4, you may want to ask for help. Your power systems focus definitely applies, so you do have a focus. So let's get that first roll in. Each interval is 30 minutes.
What's the roll?
The roll is... Oh, yeah, sorry. Why is it not saying? We're going to go control and engineering on that one.
Love
How
it.
many people can assist?
I will say 2.
I have 13, which is mediocre.
12.
Yeah, I've only got 11.
Chip.
Hey,
I've only got 12.
hey.
Sounds like it's me and Chip.
I have a 13.
I have a 13, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Billy. Sorry, I meant
Maybe
Billy
the captain and Billy should run down there.
Captain and
Billy?
Billy?
Only got 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
that would
got
require you
control,
to tell
right?
the captain. That would require you to tell the captain, like, hey, I really need you down in engineering.
Hi, hello, yes, anyone who's good at, marginally good at engineering needs some help trying to not blow up.
Stop it.
Yes. No shouting, Mama. Captain, maybe I should
Captain,
go
would you
down
like to
there.
Interrupt your feasting?
You're already gone. You left. I'm the only one in ops.
Yeah.
I can, well, knowing that the captain is needed elsewhere, I'll take her place up in ops.
Okay. Captain, are you okay with going down to engineering to help
Yeah,
out?
I'm just gonna be like, they need to go through training again. I'm gonna as I make my way to ops, I'm making a mental note of being like, everyone is going back to training.
All right, so right now we have 2 momentum. Remember, we are 11 super chats away from getting a refill, which could be helpful.
Do I get a focus for delegation? Come on, it's a group task.
Are you delegating if you go down there and do it, though?
Yeah, because she can order other people to do things. I'll let it go.
Yes!
I let one of Craig's things apply that probably shouldn't. I'm being nice today.
I mean,
nice dapper.
Yeah, I was very mean last time, so I'm being nicer today.
I've been trying
We
so
truly
hard to
have a
find an
kind of benevolent
excuse to use
DM.
my delegation skill.
All right, so Maddie, would you like to spend any momentum on excess dice or extra dice or whatever? Or you could also invoke a value or something. Also,
well,
the mission
the
directive
directive is
literally
don't
just
die.
don't die. Yeah, so you could just do that.
I would also... I have a talent called Advisor that whenever I assist another character using a command discipline, We're not using command though, right? We're using control and engineering.
Yeah, we're using
Or
control.
if I'm using my delegation, does that change that to command? Because that would be so good, because that would suddenly jump me to a 17.
It would be really cool. Unfortunately,
alright.
Okay, so I am going to spend, for this first roll, I'm going to spend 1 momentum. Someone's helping me, right?
2 people are
yeah,
helping
2
you.
people. Help.
Yes.
Yes.
2 people. Okay, so let me just spend 1 momentum. I'm using my focus, and let's just see kind of the baseline here.
Is this the only thing that's going to be going on while this extended task is going?
No, after we're going to see how long it takes, we're going to take a few other things. All right, so by the way, Chess, you technically can only roll 1 dice, so I'm only taking the first one. But that does mean that you exceeded it by 3, so you're back up to 4 momentum. And you have, in fact, succeeded. So would you like to spend any of that momentum to do things like reduce the amount of time that it took? Or anything else like that?
I'm inclined to bank the momentum for right now,
Okay.
because this was a success, right? And so, like, that's at 1 30-minute interval, so I'm inclined to just... I'd rather spend
Well, right
more.
now it's 2
like,
intervals, because the default is you spend 2 intervals unless
Yeah,
in
I
half.
think we said, or generally, that halving the interval is always useful because it means you get double the rolls.
Then I will spend 1 momentum to have the interval.
All right. All right, roll. What is your roll 5 challenge dice, because that is your engineering attribute or discipline. All right, so let's see. That is 4. 4. But also because you rolled 2 effects, that actually means that you lowered the resistance. Because normally 4 wouldn't actually do anything because the resistance is 4. But on this particular check, every time you roll an effect, it reduces that resistance, which means actually you have done 2 to the track, which means the track is now at 8. All right.
Amazing.
Good.
So now, what is... Actually, we're going to do one more roll because I don't think a half an hour is really long enough. So we'll do one more check on that, and then we're going to see what everyone else is up to.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I will spend 1 momentum using my focus. Let's go. And
That is nothing.
So I do kind of want to go over to Tack and just be like looking to him to kind of like calm me down because I'm panicking a little bit. I'm just like, I know this is stupid, but can you just come stand next to me, and if I need to hold your hand, I'm gonna do it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I just need you here.
Commander, if you manage to do this, I will allow you to not do the next 3 PT sessions.
I've been doing yoga in my quarters.
So you say.
All right, we're going to check in with the rest of the crew who is not out there trying to keep the reactor in check.
I'll quickly run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. What is everyone
That is
else
what
up to?
he is doing. That's what Billy
Yeah.
is currently doing.
That was Petty Officer Billy.
This
Yeah,
character's going for a pee.
which is
But
weird.
it's
As
hard to
a man,
find
you
something.
Just pee in the exosuit. Like, what else are you going to do?
I mean, it's hard to find one that fits a whale. It just
Yeah.
So, using the communications equipment in ops, I'm going to talk to Hobnall and Chip, who are the 2 people that aren't helping. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tack is now down there holding hands with being
Yeah.
the emotional support Klingon. Okay.
He's my
so-
emotional support Borg. Come on.
Yeah. Dr.
Everyone should have
Hobnall,
one.
I'm warming to this idea of a lure to get these creatures away from the station. What are your thoughts?
well, if they are animal-like, it should work. We just have to figure out exactly what draws them. Make sure we put something that's going to pull them away from not only the station but probably the sun as well.
Perhaps we can use the Orion ship for this, or enlist their help in some way since they have a functioning vessel that's nearby. And
Well, they have a presumably functional vessel. You didn't
Right.
actually check on that.
so that prompted me then. I was going to say, hold that thought and use the comms equipment to hail the Orion vessel.
before we do that, let's take a quick break because I do think it's probably a good time. Admiral Snappy Turtle makes a good point. It's probably a good time to let everyone use the bathroom, grab another drink, whatever they need. So we're gonna go. Yep, exactly. There is a tiny toddler who maybe could go sleepy time. So we're gonna take a quick break, everybody, and we will be back very shortly. And we will have fresh drinks and snacks and whatnot. So, and I do think that we are looking to be out of here within a reasonable amount of time to get to be on time for our hard out. So I do not see that as being a problem. So, all right.
Welcome back, everybody.
Saucers separate on this class of starship. If you mean the Kong Z, then the answer is yes. That is why there is a secondary warp core, because there are also some secondary tiny little warp coils in the saucer section, which lets them get to low warp. So they can get a tiny
So
little bit
even
of
cooler
FTL.
than the Galaxy class.
Yeah, it's also significantly bigger than the Galaxy class in everything except width, I think. It's taller and longer than the Galaxy class, but it's a little narrow.
Yeah, the Galaxy class is a really wide boy.
See, the narrow ship profile actually reduces the degradation of subspace when going at high warp. So that's why.
Sure.
Yeah, remember that one episode where they were like,
that's
we should impose
Voyager thing.
a fleet-wide speed limit for non-emergency warp.
And then they mentioned it once.
Yeah, and then it just never came back up ever again.
Although that is apparently
just
the
never come
reason
up
why.
again.
That is the reason why Voyager's nacelles go up when they go into warp. That is to help reduce the damage to subspace.
The question then is, why do they ever go down? Why not just keep them up?
Yeah.
But you know what? It's the
because
rule
it looks cool.
Exactly. It's the rule of cool. Star Trek is full of the rule of cool. We're just going to go with it. All right. So,
it's the same reason why the X-Wings go, because it looks cool.
Jordan, you were about to contact somebody.
The Orions.
The Orions. Okay, so what does Commander Vaughn want to say to the Orions?
So I'm going to ask the Orions, first of all, if they are experiencing the same problems that the ship is, or start at the base. The thing we're on, the thing that's messed up.
Yeah, the whoever's on the Orion ship comes in and says, "Yes, our systems are down. We've been fighting fires."
What is the power source that you have? Fusion, antimatter?
We have a fusion drive for most ships' power, and the warp core is powered by a matter-antimatter reactor. Pretty standard.
Has the antimatter reactor also been suffering from power drains?
No, but it's hard to regulate without all the other systems on.
Interesting. Okay, so it sounds like these creatures are attracted to fusion power sources because they're not being attracted to the antimatter reactor.
I don't know what creatures you mean.
I was speaking rhetorically to myself. Sorry.
Is that a thing that you do?
Yes. Well, I have so many past lives. I have to consult them out loud sometimes. So,
you sound like you need a psychologist.
Do you require any assistance, medical, engineering?
Well, right now we've got a few injuries, but we do have a sick bay, and they're taking care of it. We don't currently have any fatalities. If you have spare manpower, we wouldn't object to some help.
I'll see what I can do. I forget what the name of the station was, but
Epsilon 19.
Epsilon 19 out.
There you go.
Okay, I'll relay that information that I just got to Dr. Hobnaw, confirming our hypothesis about them eating fusion, but not other energy sources. So whatever energy source we use will need to be fusion-based.
Admiral Snappy Turtle's in the chat. Shelby would have sorted this out by now.
Obviously.
Tregan would have recognized these as life forms immediately.
Shelby would have,
because there's reproduction.
Shelby would have sorted this out by causing the star to go nova and wipe out like half the galaxy.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
yeah, you can't have creatures feeding on the star if there's no star. All right, is there anything else the rest of the crew wants to do, or should we get back to the extended task?
I can't think of anything else, so.
All right, let's get back to that extended task then. Let the other players think about how to lure things.
What I would like to do is give you one threat and then spend 2 momentum
to get 2 extra dice.
To get 2 extra dice.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. And let's roll. I'm holding Tack's hand.
You're squeezing really hard. Stop breaking my bone.
Oh!
Tack is distracting us by complaining and bitching and moaning about his hand.
All right, that is a whole big nothing, and you now have 5.5 hours left.
And no momentum.
Okay.
Just snapped one of my fingers.
Baby, my goodness. You're no help at all.
I
Just
do want to
go.
point out that a discipline. Oh, sorry, not discipline. That the directive for this mission is don't die, which applies to this roll specifically. If you want to spend a determination to get an extra die that has already rolled a 1, you may do that.
Now
Which
might be the
people who
time to do
assist
it.
Still have determination. I think the engineers
Yeah, they
already
do too.
spent it.
Oh, wait, did you, Dillis?
Maddie did it on the first roll, I believe.
No, I did not.
No.
Oh, was that somebody? That must
Yeah.
I must be thinking Hobnob. Whoever did it. Somebody did it.
I did it on another roll, but not on this one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So burn that determination.
Yeah. Am I up again?
Well, you
Yeah,
can burn it
go for
on
it.
this roll, so you get a success. So that'll be 3,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna burn that determination on this roll.
Aw, kitty.
Hi, baby. So I'm burning a determination, for the mission, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and give you 3 threat, and be able to roll 4 dice.
You only need to give me 2 threat to get a 3rd die on this roll, because using the determination already counts as getting an extra die.
Understood.
So you'll roll 3, and then an extra one you won't roll will count as having.
Yeah,
a 2.
we'll count as having 2.
Well, it's having a success. Okay, so I will do that. Okay. Beautiful. Focus is on. Let's go. Okay.
All right, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5,
Nicely
6. You
done.
beat it by 2. So let's see.
Don't
Two
forget,
helpers.
Billy's got a roll as well for the assist.
Just in case.
Oh, we're
Okay, that
rolling
didn't help.
shit.
Yeah, you did kind of roll poorly there.
We haven't
Okay.
rolled a crit fail yet, though, so that's nice.
Yeah, surprisingly none.
Not one.
So, all right.
Yeah.
You have 2 extra successes on top of here. What would you like to do with those points of momentum?
I'm gonna have the time
Okay.
and bank the other.
Okay.
So that puts us at
Roll
1
those-
momentum, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Roll that 5 challenge dice.
Okay.
All right. You might want to spend that point of momentum to reduce the.
I sure
thing.
would. I
All
sure
right.
would like spend that point of momentum.
All right. Well, that reduces the resistance by 1, so you dealt, or you caused 1 point of work. You
Hey.
have 7 left to go on the track, and
7
10
left to go.
intervals left.
I need something to show up that I can punch to generate momentum.
Yes.
Well,
Why? It didn't work last time.
We are basically in an emergency situation that's similar to combat. I could let the XO or the CO give a stirring speech, which would let them use like a presence and command check difficulty 0 to just generate some momentum. And I am in fact feeling nice enough to say, yeah, go ahead, you can do that.
I need a rousing speech.
I mean,
I'm
that would
not
be
feeling
me
confident.
because I'm the one down there.
All right, Captain, let's hear a rousing speech.
Oh my god, presence and command.
Yeah,
Can...
but I also want to hear you give a speech.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm just checking all of my stuff. That's not the help task. I get a focus for this, yes.
What's the focus you want to use?
Either composure, probably.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you use that one.
All right.
I was hoping you were going to have a focus for rousing speeches.
I do not have a focus for rousing speeches. I'm just gonna like,
God
I'm gonna
forbid.
just like, because I got my like little bit of like, I got claws going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while Dulas is kind of like freaking out a little bit, she's upset at Tack. She's like getting mad, getting frustrated. I'm just gonna come up behind her with my Cation disarming nature, and I'm just going to like, with just enough pressure for like the nails are there, but just enough pressure to just be like, relax. It's fine. We studied this. We did this as an exercise in classes, remember? We got this. This is fine. This is fine. We did remember back in classes, and remember when we were playing polo with Billy right before an exam just to relax down and chill out? Yeah, no, this is absolutely something. You can do this. You feel great. You got this. You can do it.
Captain,
Listen,
you broke my hand.
Shut up!
Station. Their engineering team does not keep a well-maintained station, and if this was on the Kanzi, it would be going better.
We can write a letter of complaint when we're done.
Okay.
To all the dead people.
Yeah. Well, they're dead, and that's what they get for not keeping a good engineering space.
That's what happens when you don't keep a well-maintained engine.
All right, let's use that what is it? Presence and command check. Let's see what we got here.
How many dice am I rolling? 2, right?
I mean, by
Unless you're
default,
spending
yeah.
momentum.
Or
We
giving
don't
you
have
dread.
any momentum.
When will Chesh learn the rules of this game? She's been
Never.
playing for a
I'm
year?
too busy running the production to bother.
You weren't last time.
No,
Wait, there's rules?
it's true. I'll
Yeah,
give you one
turns
threat
out.
to get an extra die, since what we're trying to do is gain momentum.
Okay.
So that's 3 die, right? Boom!
Yes. It'll be 3. You rolled an 18, a 19, and a 13. That is abysmal.
Yeah! Let's go!
It's a point of momentum, so it
Which
technically
we got by buying it with threat, which we could have done anyway.
I would like to point out that my command and presence is a 5 and an 11, and that was with a focus.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. I have
Yeah,
a
you
value. Can I throw a value at this while I'm at it?
Wait, no. Save that point of determination.
You can
Yeah,
use
you might
that
need it later.
on your
No, I didn't
assist
say
rolls, too.
determination. I said value.
But
Well,
to
you
use
use-
your value, you have to spend determination.
Oh, right.
Once again, Chesh someday will learn some of the rules to this game.
One day.
Technically, you can spend a saved checkpoint thingy.
Milestone.
Milestone,
Yeah,
yes.
if you have a
to
milestone.
I do have a
activate value.
milestone. I do have a milestone.
3 chilling out.
I have
Chesh
one.
will learn about the time we switch systems.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
So, let's get that next roll here. We got 10 intervals left, 5 hours.
Can I use a milestone to trigger a value to get a momentum?
Sure.
All right,
Well,
cool.
to get momentum, to count your assist roll is just rolling out 1. So
So the way it works is
Oh, okay.
you talk about the experience that the milestone came from, and somehow relate that to the thing you're
Oh,
doing.
I fucking don't
and then it
remember why I got
functions
this
as-
thing.
You should have written
That's
it down.
why you
It's
should
in the
write it
rules.
down.
Whoops.
And then you're supposed to describe that, and that functions as if you had spent determination.
Oh, okay.
they all have access to this book, by the way.
What's even funnier is we have access to
Li-
the
not to
episode
this
that
book,
I
literally,
got
but
that
yes.
momentum in.
Also true. All right, so relate it back to some previous experience. I don't care that much that it be the exact right one, but next time you should write it down.
I'll write it down next time.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get that check.
Make sure to never get any milestones again.
Maddie,
That's
what do
another
you?
solution.
What's the
Okay.
plan?
All right. Well, I'm gonna spend that momentum.
Okay.
And what's your threat at? 5.
It's not a problem until it gets to 14. They're fine.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you 2 threat so I can roll 4.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
Hey, you beat it by 1. And Captain Celia is another. So we beat it by 1, then 2, 3, 4. So that's 4
Roll.
points of momentum gain.
My speech worked!
Nice.
Okay. We've got 4 points of momentum. Spending 1 immediately to have the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then can I roll my challenge dice?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Hey!
Nice.
All right, so that reduces it by 3 to 1. So that's 2 more points on the track there. You could spend another point to just do another point of work.
Would
Bring
that
it
get us
all
a
the way down
breakthrough?
No, but it would get
need
you down
5
to a track of 4. And once the track is at 0, every success is a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And we need
Okay,
3. Right?
Do it.
Tack
Spend
gets
1
off the-
momentum.
Okay.
Get that down to 4.
Tack gets off the floor, looking at his hand, and walks over to you and gives you a big hug and says, "Make this worth it."
Aw.
Thank you. I hug you back.
I'm making a note of what may or may not be HR violations.
We're friends.
right.
Okay.
We got another one?
Okay. Let's go. Let's do it.
We got 2 momentum.
Spending 2.
the captain can do the milestone thing if you can relate it to any past episode ever.
I mean, I know which. I actually, as I waited, I was like, oh no, I know what this came from.
Okay. I'm going to spend 2 momentum, and I'm going to give you 1 threat.
Okay.
Okay.
This is gambling, is what this is.
Okay.
Beat it by 1. There's another one. All right, so you beat it by 2. I'm assuming that one of them is going to be to reduce the duration.
Yep.
Roll them challenge dice. Ooh,
There it is.
Ooh.
2, 4, 6, 7. But that's 3
No,
damage.
I'm
for 3
spending
tries.
that 1 momentum to knock it down to 3, so we go 4 and we clear the track.
That is, in fact, a breakthrough. As the breakthrough occurs, you actually can start stabilizing this reactor, and then you start to notice that some of these life forms that were previously only visible on sensors are starting to become vaguely visible as largish, but much smaller than kilometers across, blobs of what looks like protoplasmic matter with some kinds of veins running through them and sensory ganglia and energy conversion organs and other less identifiable bits of anatomy.
Hey,
All
Doulas, do
hanging
you think
out
you
nearby.
can transport that?
Do I think we can transport that?
You think it's probably unlikely.
Okay. Can I make a roll about it and generate more minerals?
No.
Good try.
Okay.
Admiral Snappy Turtle points out the captain might be an HR violation. I mean, she is always doing naked hot yoga.
Given
In
the
my
history
quarters?
With the door open.
Let's listen.
Given the history, Captain Hawk, that's an HR violation. So, this is an HR violation.
It's a very HR violation-y fleet.
Yeah.
I am
HR
a
officer
no
on the ship is,
nonsense
like, the most stressed
captain.
person in the world. The HR officer is just like constantly crying.
I'm supposed to be a no nonsense captain. Captain Hawk was a hot captain. Those are different things.
Remind me, which captain had a focus on BDSM?
Hey! That doesn't automatically mean.
Okay, just double checking.
Okay. I have a question, Dapper.
Yes.
And okay, so we've gotten the work track down to 0.
Yes.
So what does that mean? What is now my goal with this extended
Your
task?
goal is to get 3 more breakthroughs. Every success on this task is going to be a breakthrough, but if you still manage to get 5 work done on it anyway, that will be a second breakthrough anyway. So hypothetically, you could get it done in 2 more rolls if you could deal enough.
If we could get 5 successes, but yeah.
That's unlikely. At a minimum, it will take you 3 more successes to complete this, and you have 8 intervals, which is 4 rolls if you do not reduce the time, and 8 if you do.
Okay. Excellent.
Which means you
We should have enough time unless we roll like we did.
However, I'm going to give give me a reduction of threat by 2. Because
the Vulcan gets up and stabs Va because they were a Romulan.
No. Instead, what happens is there is another rumble through the ship, and a comm comes through. Says, "This is the Orion vessel. We've had a breach in our reactor."
No.
Which means at least one option for getting rid of these guys is probably no longer super viable.
Can't we just throw it?
Will the breach in the reactor lead to explosive results, or is it just out of commission?
Oh, it results in explosive results, but in the hangar bay. So there's probably some dead Orions.
Oh, that's bad. Okay.
Well, it's not ideal, but they're also not your crew, so like it's bad for Paja more than it is for you. And she's just hanging out in a turbo lift somewhere with the commander of the station making sure that he's okay.
Okay. I'm going to, from ops, order a couple of the scientists who have some basic medical training to go render aid. Because that seems like the Starfleet thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Does this station have any weaponry?
No.
Okay.
It is an unarmed research station.
I'm trying to think of some way to easily generate a fusion reactor not here. And if they had fusion weaponry.
Well, if you could get back in contact with the Kong Z, they have a fusion reactor.
Yeah. So while I'm not doing anything else, I'm going to be trying to hail the Kong Z.
We've got
Okay.
an exocom that does comm stuff. And,
That's
like,
true.
Yeah,
generates
if,
and builds shit.
All
If
right.
nothing else, if the Orion ship is having issues, we might need the Kong Z to tractor it to a safe location.
So, I'm going to say that if you want to try to contact the Kong Z, their chip, that is going to be a control and engineering check. And it's going to be difficulty 3.
When I was
Ooh-wee.
doing my milestone swapping, I was like, should I put a point in engineering? Nah, that never comes up.
Till it does.
Yeah, control and engineering, I have 13.
Well, Billy's busy doing the reactor stuff.
Yeah, you're not available.
True. Yeah, someone else has to do it.
So
I'll throw 3 threat your way.
Hold on.
Well-
I'm double checking your focuses. Oh, you don't seem to have a focus that. I'll let computers work. So it's difficulty 3, and you can get your focus to apply if you want. And also, you could use that point of determination to have an extra die that already counts as a 2, because stay alive is the mission objective here. So, like,
Okay.
it applies to most things that happen.
Sure. I mean, sure. All right. Then I'll still throw two points of threat your way and roll 3 dice.
Okay.
Because I'm not very good at that, and
That's
I
2.
got 1 success.
That's 2.
All right.
So you used a
3 with the-
determination.
Well, the
3.
determination gives me 1 dice that has 1, that rolls a 1, so that's 2 extra successes. So
Yeah,
that
3.
is 3.
3. Yep. All right. So you managed to get a staticky connection to the Kong Z.
Hello, is this the Kong Z?
Yes, this is the Kong Z.
Okay, what did we want to do when we contacted them?
Oh,
Uh,
me.
well, if it's okay, you get the comms, I can order the ship.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll transfer the connection to you then.
Kong Z, this is Commander Va.
Josh, reduce that threat by 2, please. This is the Kong Z. Go ahead.
We need assistance immediately at the station.
Commander, you're starting to break up.
Come to the station.
What was that? Say again.
Bring the ship to me. Come and see here.
Give me a a presence and command check. Difficulty 2.
Mein Luftkissenfahrzeug ist voller Aale.
Okay. I am going to use my Starcross.
Ooh.
And I need
Fancy.
to apply a focus. I need to apply a focus for that, and I don't have one that works because I'm not trying to intimidate this person, unfortunately.
No,
You're trying to intimidate the comms.
All right. All right. So in that
Communicator.
case, I'm going to use my banked milestone from I ship, where I took charge and repelled borders, and I'm going to channel that clear and concise communication into this thing.
Just start speaking in, like, binary, like SOS.
So that would be 3 successes.
You destroyed Cambrio.
Someone destroyed Tamriel?
Apparently.
was
Tyrion,
that?
I think your audio is coming through, and I think you're listening to a Elder Scrolls lore video. New computer. How dare you listen to lore videos?
New
during the
computer,
game?
who dis?
All right. Yeah. So that is good enough. So,
Sorry.
you are fairly confident before the communication shuts out that they probably heard you and are probably on their way.
All right, I will report that to the
Mhm.
captain. Captain, the Kongzi is probably coming to help.
Probably, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, we couldn't get that far in the conversation.
They will just be the lore.
Meanwhile, well, so I guess the Kongzi would have fusion reactors too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the sun's coming up.
Yeah, that's not good. So,
Sorry, Craig.
and then
Hey,
I'll direct
let's give
Hobnall.
Snaps for Craig for playing with us.
And Thierry.
And Thierry,
For
excuse
those of you
me.
who don't know,
Yeah.
both Craig and Thierry are in fact in Europe, and it is early in the morning for them. Very early.
Oof.
So
Like,
I
this is
Yeah,
also
it is
just trying to go mental
10
out there.
past 4 right now, but that's
Yeah.
all right. I'm a night owl anyway.
Wait, what time is it there, Craig, that the sun is coming up?
Just 10 past 3.
That's way too early for the sun to be coming up.
Yeah,
This
we
is
only
Thursday.
get about 2.5 to 3 hours of night at the moment because I'm so
Yeah.
far up on latitude. So it goes dark about midnight and then gets light again about 3.
Here, the sun will be coming up in around half an hour.
Humans evolved in the tropics. Stay in the tropics, everybody.
The tropics, isn't that where all those deadly diseases are?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. Don't worry about it. Just drink a lot of gin and tonic. You'll be good.
Yeah, drink all the bitter lemon and gin and tonic.
All right. We're gonna go back to the extended task. With the work track is now completely finished. So, Maddie, that means
Mhm.
that you basically have probably 8 tries to get this, assuming that you keep feeding threat or using momentum.
Okay. Did we generate any momentum with those last few rolls?
No, we didn't.
Cool.
I tried. I used everything I had, which was one
I
thing.
know. I believe in you. Okay. Well, I'm gonna possibly do something stupid. I would love to give Dapper 3 threat so that I can roll 4 dice. Let's go.
All right.
Hey!
That's success. Let's also get the other
Let's get those other
assist.
rolls.
Billy,
Maybe
Billy,
we'll get a
Billy.
momentum in here.
Come on, Billy, you got this. Give her another point of momentum.
Billy might be in Tamriel.
Go.
I clicked it, but yeah,
There
it
it
is.
All right, we've got a
so
momentum.
I'm going to
So
assume
let
that you're going to
me-
spend at least 1 to reduce that to halftime.
Yes, would love to do that. So let's do
That
that.
sounds good.
And then let me roll.
But
How
that's
many-
still.
Yeah, you should spend the other.
You
point
could
of
spend
momentum.
1 momentum to get that up to 5, or
No,
does
it
the
won't matter.
resistance still count on
So
this
the
one?
resistance will still count. So it's going to be there's no point in spending the extra momentum. So just bank it.
Yeah,
And
then
that's
then
the
just
advantage.
count it as 1 success, and let's
Yeah.
roll the next one.
That's another one. As you make this breakthrough, the organisms seem even more substantial. You still can't actually physically contact them.
Guys, I'm not in Captain, I'm not entirely sure why. That seems like a science thing, not an engineering thing.
That's
But,
not your job. Don't worry about it. You stay focused on where you need to stay focused on. Don't worry about it. We'll deal with the rest of it. I'm going to contact Hobnall and let Hobnall know, and perhaps to come down and take a look at them.
One of its tendrils is really close. It's like,
Flap, 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 flap.
Great,
Definitely
Cthulhu.
come take a look.
They want to
All
be
right, let's
friends.
get another roll. Remember, our hard out is at the top of the hour, so we do have to get that roll going.
Okay. I've got momentum.
Yes, you do.
I will spend it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you 2 threat.
Okay.
Don't like that. Hey, like that.
Oh,
Hey!
you did it!
Oh, yeah, the
All
tendrils are so close to my face.
Roll that.
Yes.
It is actually possible to get. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's 4. All right. So yeah, that's not 5 damage yet. It's what is it? gets 2. So
Yeah, that would be 2, so it is a breakthrough, but we can't spend 3 momentum to get it up to 5.
all right, Maddie, you only need to do
Give
this
him
one
3
more
threat.
time.
Okay.
Yes.
And I don't have momentum.
No, but you have
Give him
5
threat.
intervals
Do
left.
it.
Okay.
So like you could take 2 more rolls without giving me threat, and still have another roll left.
But I still need 4 successes, right?
Correct, but you also do have 2 people assisting, and you have your focus.
And
Yes.
the captain can also do the milestone thingy
Okay.
if we need
And
an emergency.
Master Billy hasn't used the determination from the mission directive of not dying.
Well, yeah, I used my determination. It doesn't matter which directive or trait or value I use.
Get that point of determination, and I haven't seen anything that would make me say that Billy is challenging one of her values, which means there's no reason for me to get rid of the point of
No,
determination.
I really haven't, and I don't think it would make sense for my values.
Okay.
You okay, Craig?
Yeah, just stretching my legs.
Okay.
All right. Then what I will do is I will spend 1 point of threat to get a
Okay.
3rd die,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
All right. Let's see what we got.
Hey!
Look at
Nice.
that. 3 points
Wow.
of momentum.
Woohoo!
All right. So I'm going to assume that one of those
See,
points of
we
momentum
can
is
do
used.
it.
That's 3, right?
Roll-
3
Yeah, it
down
was 3,
to
but-
2.
I'm assuming that you're using one of those to
Yeah.
reduce the interval.
Yeah.
So
Yes, please.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the most powerful spend on an extended task.
Yeah, and
All right.
being
so
finished early is always
here-
good.
Here's the trick: you only had 1 magnitude left, so you beat the task right now. Period.
Hooray!
Okay.
Nice.
So the reactor is stabilized, and the creatures do not seem to get any more corporeal than they are now. And the Kong Z chimes in on your communicators, which saying Kong Z to away team. Captain, is everything all right? Well, Captain, we've been having. We could lure them with the fusion reactor and warp away so that they all run after us if you shut down that reactor there. All right. So, Maddie, you do not need to do it. You don't need to do a check to shut down the reactor.
Okay.
I think I was muted. I told them what was going on, and then told them to get a few. They're gonna be the lure. To
So the
get that
captain
thing
wasn't
away.
muted for us, only on the outside. So that's why we could all react. Sorry about that, guys.
My bad. I pressed my
Chesh is a
button backwards.
professional.
Technology.
Take a drink.
Technology.
Yep.
Okay. So
You do know that I could do. People couldn't really going on, and then the comm understand what was happening.
So I think Chesh should be unmuted now.
Yeah, I'm
So
unmuted
let
now.
me-
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right. So, because we are actually coming up towards that, I am not going to introduce many more challenges. I will just say that the Kongzi manages to lure the creatures away, and they start going at full impulse and sort of the occasional jump to warp just to stay ahead of them. And once they are far enough away, they swing back around to you guys and are able to beam everyone up. And you are able to get back on the ship safely. I'm going to say that while people did die, none of them were under any of your commands. So, for purposes of the reputation check at the end of this, you do not have to say yes to did anyone under your command die, because technically, no one under your command did. Only people in other chains of command died.
Huzzah, loopholes.
You are not
Yeah,
held responsible for the
technicalities.
death how much would it suck if every captain in Starfleet was held responsible for every death everywhere in Starfleet?
Or even if it was
Like-
like just your direct vicinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that said, Starfleet, though not a military, functions as one. So there is definitely a safety briefing about like aging planets or something going on right now. You know, like
it's true.
Yeah.
This all caused me to miss some kind of seminar about that, and I'm like, thank God. I would rather be sitting on this place on fire and considering snacking on all these people laying around that have looked barbecued.
All right. So what that means though is that we are going to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. This was a
Good episode.
This was always going to be a little bit of a shorter one, but I did want to make sure that we went a little quickly because we did have a hard out.
I have volcanoes right now.
Which is really
Yay.
good. Go check out. That's on the Chess channel, or is that on Debate Hub?
Debate Hub.
So there you go. Go check out Debate Hub for, I think it's called Volcano Watch, right?
Yep.
And that was with Manya and Landon Knoll. Landon Knoll is, in fact, a planetary scientist. And Manya, I would say, is a volcanology enthusiast.
Yes.
Does that seem fair? There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do a lot of stuff checking on active volcanoes that are currently erupting, making predictions about which currently not active, but perhaps imminently active volcanoes are going to go off next.
Yellowstone, woo!
Yeah, so Debate Hub should be linked in the chat. I'm going to double check to make sure that it is, because if it's not, then it will be.
It's
soon.
also almost monetized.
Yeah, so that's another
Get
thing. Go over
almost.
there, get the
Let's do this.
subscribers over there. So actually it is not. So I'm going to add in Debate Hub.
Thanks.
Debate. Where did it go? Where is it? There it is, Debate Hub. It's the one that has the logo that looks like the other Hub logo
Yeah.
that you might also be familiar with, which,
Maybe.
yeah, I made that logo.
You did.
Nice.
Yeah, it was actually just a joke.
Yay.
Josh is like, I need a name for my new channel. I was like, Debate Hub, and I sent her just the mock-up of the logo that I made as a joke. I threw it together in like 20 seconds, and she's like, no, we're doing it. I was like, okay.
It is a great joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I just saved that, so that should be there. Guys, next time, the plan is that we are going to be doing, let me just double check here, for the next episode, because I have it saved and I just need to bring it back up.
Meteors
Okay.
fall, everybody dies.
So this is going to be episode 9, Haptic. The name of this episode is going to be Haptic. So please stay tuned for that. There should be a coming teaser trailer, hopefully sooner than the last one, because I was a little bit out of it last week, so sorry about that. And anyway, unless anyone has any last words that they want to say, we're just going to get out of here and see y'all over on Chesh's channel. Go over there.
Like
I've
and
got a final
subscribe.
word.
Goodbye.
Globulate.
I need some sleep.
Bye.
Good night.
PG day tomorrow, guys. Check your game store.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.